The morning sun had barely risen when Officer Daniels clipped the leash onto Max, his loyal nine partner. The streets were quiet, save for the distant rumble of a garbage truck making its rounds. To most, it was just another routine day, but not for Max. Suddenly, the German shepherd froze. His ears shot up, his eyes narrowed, and his body tensed. Then he barked, not just a casual bark, but a relentless, desperate cry that echoed through the street. He lunged toward the garbage truck, straining against his leash, his growls vibrating with urgency. "Easy, boy," Daniels muttered, puzzled. Max wasn't the type to bark without reason. Something was wrong. The garbage truck slowed to a stop as the driver, confused by the commotion, leaned out the window. "Everything okay, officer?" he asked, but Max wasn't calming down. His nose pressed to the truck's rear, barking louder, claws scraping the pavement as if trying to dig the truth out. Daniel's stomach tightened. He knew better than to ignore his partner's instincts. "Open it up," Daniels ordered firmly. The driver hesitated. Sir, it's just garbage. Open it." The compactor hissed and the heavy back door creaked open. At first glance, it was what you'd expect. Bags of trash, scraps, broken things no one wanted. But then Max whined, pawing at a mound of black plastic bags. His sharp teeth tugged one loose, tearing it slightly. A small, fragile hand slipped out. Daniels froze. His heart dropped. Inside that mountain of waste was a child. The little girl, no more than 6 years old, was unconscious, her tiny frame limp and pale. She had been thrown away, discarded like she didn't matter. "Oh my God," the driver whispered, stumbling back in shock. Daniels didn't waste a second. He scooped her into his arms, calling for backup and an ambulance. "Stay with me, sweetheart. Stay with me," he urged, his voice trembling with urgency. Max barked beside him, pacing as if encouraging the girl to fight. But the challenges were just beginning. The hospital confirmed she had survived only by a miracle. Starvation, bruises, and hypothermia had nearly claimed her life. She was a Jane Doe. No one knew who she was or how she ended up in that truck. The thought haunted Daniels. Detectives dug deep. The case revealed something darker, a trafficking ring. Children were being exploited, used, and when no longer valuable to their captors, they were discarded, literally. Daniels fought back tears when he realized this girl wasn't just a victim. She was a survivor. Max's instincts had saved her from being crushed inside the compactor, but rescuing her was just the beginning. The girl, who eventually whispered her name as a Lily, faced nightmares. No child should. She was terrified of adults, flinching even when nurses offered help. She barely spoke, her voice trembling whenever anyone approached, except when Max was in the room. Max would lie by Lily's hospital bed for hours, his steady breathing a source of comfort. One day, as Daniels watched from the doorway, Lily reached out a small, trembling hand and touched Max's fur. For the first time since her rescue, she smiled. A fragile, fleeting smile, but a spark of hope nonetheless. "She trusts him," the nurse whispered. Daniels nodded. He saved her. Maybe now he can help heal her. The investigation led to multiple arrests. The trafficking ring was dismantled piece by piece, thanks to Lily's survival and the evidence that followed. It wasn't easy. Officers faced threats, false leads, and the emotional toll of uncovering the suffering of other children. But every challenge fueled their determination. Daniels carried Lily's picture in his pocket during every raid. It reminded him what was at stake. Months passed. Lily was placed with a foster family who adored her. She slowly found her voice again, learning to laugh, learning to play, learning to be a child. Through it all, Max remained her guardian angel. At the adoption ceremony, Lily clung to Max's neck, whispering, "A thank you for finding me." Daniels blinked back tears. He realized then that Max hadn't just saved Lily's life, he had given her a future. The story spread nationwide, stirring outrage, heartbreak, but also hope. Communities rallied for stronger protections for children, more funding for 9 units, and greater awareness of trafficking. And at the heart of it all was Max, the dog who refused to stop barking, whose instinct turned tragedy into a miracle. Sometimes heroes don't wear badges or capes. Sometimes they walk on 4 legs with fur, loyalty, and a heart that refuses to ignore what's wrong. Max taught us that every life matters and that hope can be found even in the darkest places, if we're willing to listen.